Good morning, friends. It's a pleasure standing here on this platform and speak to you about my journey and some of the innovations which I could do in social work. In fact, my journey started in a middle class family. I am third child of my parents, Srimati Pratibha and Sri Prabhabkar Oak. My father was in irrigation department. That's why my primary school education happened in Kannada medium in rural schools of Karnataka. For my high school and college education, we moved to Hubli. After my 12th, in long holidays, I got to hear an inspiring speech about Veer Savarkar. This was organized by Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, ABVP. And this made me to think about and read about the unsung heroes of Indian freedom struggle. 3 books, Ajaya on Chandrasekhar Azad, Durdamya on Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Atmahuti on Veer Savarkar. These 3 books which I read and those kindled the desire to do something for the nation. And that's why I joined ABVP. I became an active member of ABVP. After my engineering, I joined as a lecturer in an engineering college. And in the same year, I got married to Sri Anant Kumar, who was State General Secretary of Bharatiya Janata Party. This is in 1989. And then we moved to Bangalore. I joined IT sector, went into software development, then software testing, and finally I got an opportunity to join my dream career. I joined as a scientist in Aeronautical Development Agency, the India's most prestigious project of design and development of first indigenous light combat aircraft, LCA, Tejas. And ADA was then headed by Dr. Abdul Kalam. In the same year, back at home, my husband contested election. He won Member of Parliament as from Bangalore South constituency. And by then I had 2 daughters, Aishwarya, 6-year-old, and Vijeta was just 6 months. And unfortunately, in the same year, I lost my mother-in-law, Srimati Girija Shastri, who was a great pillar of strength for the family. And I had to leave my job. And probably it is the same time when Sri Anant Kumar seeded the idea of founding a not-for-profit organization by name Adamya Chetana. Adamya Chetana is the indomitable spirit. To continue the work Srimati Girija Shastri was doing in Hubli in social sector. Adamya Chetana started in a small way, in a car shed with tailoring class for women. Then we started basic computer education for school dropout girls. Then we started innovative virtual blood bank to connect the donors and the needy. At the same time, our volunteers started going to government schools where normally the poorest of the poor, the children of the undersection society normally study in such schools. We started working with them. In fact, in 6 months, probably we visited around 100 schools of Bangalore. And what we found there, basically I can say 3 observations. One was lack of interest in schooling, both for teachers and the taught, lack of basic infrastructure. And most important observation was after 12 o'clock, the children were sleepy, they were tired, the whole environment was so dull. We started working with these schools, we started teaching them, helping them in learning maths, English, science. In fact, we designed a program by name Ata Patha, wherein our dedicated vehicle used to visit these schools, carrying toys and teaching aids, computer, and we started making the whole environment interesting. We brought fun into education. At the same time, we all know, don't teach philosophy on an empty stomach. But we couldn't do much. We in fact started health checkup programs. In the meanwhile, fortunately in 2003, the Supreme Court of India made midday meal as mandatory program for all the schools of Karnataka. But every day cooking food and serving was a big nightmare for headmasters. They approached us, they said, Ata Pata, play and learn will manage, but give us UTA, the Bisi UTA, the midday meal program. After a lot of deliberations, we knew because it is not easy to cook every day for thousands, cooking and delivering. And in fact, we had nothing. We had no know-how, we had no space, we had no human resource. But after a lot of deliberations, we decided to start Annapurna project, the midday meal project, like a typical project management style. We sat down, we worked literally for 1 week, day and night. We made templates, we made checklists, forms, every single minute detail was designed. And on the first day, on 29 June 2003, we cooked for 10,000 children and delivered it to 54 schools. And this 10,000 clocked 54,000 within 1.5 years. We could design a robust and rugged system with zero failures, 100% delivery. Even while cooking, we can't start early, we can't start late. We have to ensure that the meal reaches to all the 300 schools before 12:30. And the system was so robust, the system was made such that we could cook in 1 rupees 31 paisa. That was the aid given by government and 100 gram rice. And this 1 rupee 31 paisa has become 4 rupees 13 paisa now. And we were cooking in our menu. On our menu, we had rice sambar. We had every Wednesday we serve bisibele bath and payasam. We know how to cook palav. We know pongal. We cook uppitu. And along with this, every day in a week, our menu, we don't repeat our menu. And because, it's a young children. And the food every day has to be looking different, tasting different. And that's why we are able to manage the midday meal program over last 14 years. And in 2005, we just copied this system in Hubli. And in 2006, we started our midday meal in Jodhpur in Rajasthan, a remote place with different language, different menu. In Rajasthan, the story of midday meal of Adamya Chetana in Rajasthan is an independent adventurous story by itself. Before we learnt and before we started cooking the local menu like dal chawal, roti sabji and lapsi, the khichdi, dal dhokli of Rajasthan, we started our first meal, especially on our Karnataka's Foundation Day on November 1st, 2006, with our delicacy bisibele bhat. And since last 11 years, our Jodhpur kitchen, with all its small issues, but every day the biggest challenge of every day cooking 60,000 rotis, counting them and packing them and distributing it to 245 schools, which was a challenge, but we could address it with the support of our staff and volunteers. In 2007, we started our midday meal program in Kalburgi. And together, it is 2 lakh children, 1,054 schools, every day on every single working day. Continuing our mission of Anna, Akshara and Arogya, we designed and founded the first cashless health insurance program for the children, and the premium was just 25 rupees. And this program was inaugurated by Dr. Abdul Kalam. Along with that, in the same year, we designed one more interesting program, Wall Magazine for school children, by name Chinnara Chetana. And Chinnara Chetana carries simple, tiny articles on environment conservation and ecology. But look at the dichotomy. On one side, we write articles about environment conservation, we speak about climate change, we speak about global warming, we speak about fossil-free fuel, but Every kitchen in India either starts with LPG or kerosene or wood. And even in our Adame Chetana's kitchen, we were using 60 LPG cylinders every day. We started looking at the alternatives. To tell you, within 6 months, we became 100% fossil-free fuel kitchen. From 60 LPG cylinders a day, 12,000 cylinders per year. Since last 9 years, we have not allowed even one LPG cylinder to enter our compound. And how we did it is, our huge steam boiler, which gulping every day 1 ton of briquettes made up of dry waste, straight away saved 55 LPG cylinders for us. And my quiet biogas unit sitting in a corner, which eats every day 100 kg of spilt and stale food, saved another 2 LPG cylinders. Simple smokeless chula designed by IISc, which consumes 802 coconut shells, which were going as a waste in my kitchen. They saved another 1 LPG cylinder for our midday meal program. And our biomass stove, which consume bullet looking like pellets made up of organic waste, saved 1 more LPG cylinder. This together, since last 9 years, I have not used no LPG, no wood. The entire fuel for the cooking is made up of waste material. And taking it forward, from 100% fossil-free fuel kitchen, we decided to make our kitchen 100% zero garbage. And to tell you, we didn't use any rocket science to convert my kitchen into zero garbage. I did not buy even one single machine to reduce my daily garbage of 500 kg to 0 kg. What we did is just removed our dustbins. Just remove your dustbins from the kitchen. And vegetable peels, some of them went for cattle feeding, some of them we converted into compost. Coconut shells, of course, were going for masala frying. And we stopped bringing the grocery in plastic packages. Every smaller, minor details from at purchase level, at usage level, and at disposal level was looked at. We changed the working style, and since last 8 years, we have not given even 1 gram of waste to municipal corporation in Bangalore. Looking at this, inspired by this, many of my volunteers' kitchens became zero garbage. My small kitchen at house became zero garbage. Many of the school teachers' kitchens have become zero garbage. And when kitchens can become zero garbage, why not our dining rooms? Why not our house can become zero garbage? Our schools can become zero garbage. Even our big social events can become zero garbage. And that's where we started supporting people. We started telling children as well as elders, when you mix plastic and food, when you throw it, it is not only good for the health of Mother Earth, but it is not good for your health as well. And that's the bisphenol and the phthalates in plastic are the cause of cancer. We also explained them we are every day throwing around 600 crores of straws. And by the way, straws are not disposable. And if all of us stop using paper glasses, paper napkins, and the paper cutlery, we would save 65 lakh trees, cutting of 65 lakh trees per year. And all this information, all this data, all this information, we in fact designed a simple another project by name Plate Bank to help people to organize their events. We give plates, glasses, and spoons without charging rent, and we explain them why they should not be using plastic bottles, why they should not be using them plastic plates, as well as we tell them please don't use paper glass, because paper glass has a thin plastic layer inside. Paper glass is not eco-friendly. It's a plastic coated paper. Again, we need to cut trees. And our plate bank of Bangalore has 10,000 sets of cutlery in Bangalore. We have 2,000 sets in Hubli. We have another 1,000 set in Gadag and one more 1,000 sets of cutlery in Kalburgi. And another flagship program of Adamya Chetana is Green Bharat 1:1. And this program which was initiated in 2016, is planting 100 saplings on every Sunday. And since last 120 Sundays, on every Sunday we have planted 100 saplings, and we didn't stop there. On every day our team goes and visits, nurtures these plants, taking the 5,000 liters of the rice wash water that is generated in my kitchen. They take this water every day, they take the compost that we have generated and nurtures these trees, and our target is making the ratio of Bangalore Bangalore to tree ratio should become 1:1. Along with that, we have an annual Seva Utsav, where we bring all our students, our teachers, our parents, our volunteers and donors. They all come on one platform, and singing of full Vande Mataram year over year is making our journey vibrant, making our journey meaningful. And to conclude, it is my Pakashala, the kitchen itself is a Prayogashala for me, my laboratory, and is the Pathashala, the school. And my Pakashala, my Prayogashala and Pathashala in my journey, especially the pillar-like support of Shri Anant Kumar and the dedicated volunteers team, my family members, the donors, the teachers are the motivating force, and they are the people who have made this journey meaningful. I thank Mata Annapurneshwari, the goddess of food and nature, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.